third week of Advent. It's the midpoint when we light the pink candle to remind ourselves of the joy in the middle of our lives. But on this particular Sunday this year, in our prayers in morning prayer, we're going to pause and look at the darkness in which that light shines. I want to just quote from you the two main passages from Sunday's readings. The first is from Isaiah. "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me. He has sent me to bring good news to the oppressed, to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and release to the prisoners." And then there's the line about John the Baptist. "He himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light." He is a witness. And so we, in listening to these passages this year, on this particular day, we want to think about how we can be witnesses to the light and lay down the sense of obligation that we be the light. We want to look around us, look at the companions who are traveling with us at this time, and put aside our well-intentioned busyness to be still so that we can watch for the other, the one, the Holy One, who seeks a place within us. Most of all, I think this Christmas is calling us to stop worrying about what we have to give and to open our hearts to receive in a wholehearted way the gifts that others will give to us. Our inclination as we journey through this life is to look at the ground, pay attention to our path, stay on the path that is marked before us. Be assured that someone has walked ahead of us, careful to place our feet on firm and marked ground, listening for the rustle of an intruder, watching for signs of strange life. We look at the ground, but we don't often enough look up at the sky and at the pattern of the stars to see the openings, the fragments of light on even the darkest moonless night. Above the barren ground on which we find ourselves, we can feel the vastness of a clear and starlit sky, not simply the smallness of our lives, but the mysterious and infinite life that we share across time and space with all creation. Even if our hearts rebel against the unfairness of the circumstances in which we find ourselves, we must remember that we are not made only of the earth, but of the star stuff as well. To remember that even in our most profound loneliness, we are not alone. Even if we do not know where we are going, we resolve we will get on with our lives. We will move into a future we may not have chosen. For we are living beings, creatures of a living God. We have been changed by all the losses and gains of our lives, and we continue to grow in the darkness that loss may have left with us. It may be true that no one can replace what we have lost, but it is also true that no one can take away the life that remains with us. No one can take away what life has given us. It may be true that we have lost the future that we had imagined, but it is also true that we have a future that continues to unfold before us. We will, in time, arrive at the place where we know who we are, where we know the truth of where we are and what we are becoming. The relationships that have meant the most to us, the times in our lives when we have heard the stars now silent, these continue to make us feel most alive. The people we have loved and trusted, the people who have celebrated with us in other seasons, the people in whom we have seen our future, these people continue to be our compass. It is not what we remember, it is how we remember. We remember by embracing what remains a part of us, not by weeping over what we have discarded. When we have no more words, when we only remember remembering, still we will be sustained by the lives we have shared. Still the best selves of the people we have known will remain part of who we are. The life we share with the people we love is like dappled sunlight on a pond. It's like starlight on a field. It's like sunrise after a week of rain. It's like the halo of a moon behind the clouds. It's like the star of Bethlehem. God has blessed us and keeps watch over us. God has set his face to shine upon us and has been gracious to us. God has lifted the light of his countenance upon us and given us peace. Then, now, and always. We need not be the light that the world needs right now, but we must witness to the light within ourselves that the darkness cannot dim. I want to end by a reflection by Jean Vanier, who was the founder of Communities for the Disabled called L'Arche, and the poem is called The Broken Body. Our brokenness is the wound through which the full power of God can penetrate our being and transfigure us in God. Loneliness is not something from which we must flee, but the place from which we can cry out to God, where God will find us and we can find God. Yes, through our wounds, the power of God can penetrate us and become like rivers of living water to irrigate the arid earth within us. Thus, we may irrigate the arid earth of others so that hope and love are reborn. Amen.